Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for the regular scheduled village board meeting for January 13th, 2026. First meeting of the new year. With that, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lana, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold.
Here.
Trustees Amos.
Here.
Babiak.
Here.
Brockman.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Luciano.
Here.
And Selfridge.
Here. All right. We do have a quorum to conduct village business this evening. With that, we will continue moving forward with this evening's agenda. Our next item on the agenda is citizens. Are there any citizens wishing to address the village board this evening? All right. Seeing none, we'll move into this evening's consent agenda. Item number 1 will be approval of the regular meeting minutes from December 9th, 2025. Item 2 is approval of accounts payable in the amount of $1,226,661.12. Item 3 is approval of a payment in the amount of $12,200 to Viking Industrial Painting for the pressure wash cleaning of the Walnut Trails water tower. Item 4 is approval of a payment in the amount of $45,666 to the Grand Prairie Water Commission for November 2025 fees. Item number 5 is approval of a payment in the amount of $1,231,125.86 to Joseph J. Henderson and Sons for the Lake Water Receiving Station project. Item 6 will be approval and purchase and the payment in the amount of $17,926.80 to Axon Enterprise for the police taser equipment. And item number 7 will be approval of a payment in the amount of $17,649.41 to the Will County Governmental League for the 2026 membership dues. With that, are there any questions or does a board member need any additional information under this evening's consent?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by trustee Luciano,
Second.
second by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Babiak.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
All right. Consent agenda's been approved. With that, we'll move on to this evening's reports and communications. Lana, is there anything that you had received prior to this evening's board meeting?
No, sir.
Thank you. With that, we do have the honor and privilege to swear in another new officer. It may seem like we've done a couple of these, but we're at a spot in our with our agency. We've had some retirements and we've brought some new officers on board. So with that, I would like to introduce to the village Officer Quinn Peplow. He's a North Central College graduate with a bachelor's in administration and marketing. And he doesn't bring any police background, but he says he was inspired by some family members. He's looking for a career that's trying to be a little more meaningful and wants to help the community. So with that, let's swear in Officer Peplow and see if he wants to introduce any family afterwards. There might be 1 or 2 of them here. Yes, sir. All right, I have to wear glasses because I can't see some of the stuff.
Yeah.
All right, take right hand. I state your name.
Quinn Peplow,
Having been appointed to the position of police officer
having been appointed to the position of police officer
in the police department of the village of Shorewood,
in the police department of the village of Shorewood,
county of Will,
county of Will,
state of Illinois,
state of Illinois,
aforesaid,
after said,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the ordinances of the village of Shorewood
and the ordinances of the village of Shorewood
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Make sure I hold the rights up. I want to give you the honor of giving you a badge.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. I think the young lady's trying to do for her. And And with that, is there anybody you want to introduce? Any family or anybody? I mean, you may have one or two here.
We have a lot of family here.
Anybody specific you want to mention? I don't want to leave anybody out.
Cousin Michael. He's a big inspiration while I'm trying to be a police officer, and one of my friends who's in the military, and my great uncle Jim was a police officer. And it's just huge that there's a lot of family support from my family and my friends being a police officer, and trying to do the best in this world. So.
Well, welcome to this family, and without a doubt, the leadership here and the team members, the other officers, without a doubt, will look out after you and teach you the right guidance. Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Congrats. All right, with that, we will move on to this evening's order of business. Business item number 1 will be a consideration for approval of the reappointment of Chris Dre to the Police Pension Board for a 1-year term. Mr. Dre, Shorewood resident, he has been participating with our pension board activities. We have not had any issues with attendance or any matters of that nature, so we are looking for just a 1-year reappointment on that.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the reappointment of Chris Dre to the Police Pension Board for a 1-year term.
Second.
Motion by Selfridge, seconded Luciano. Roll call on the reappointment, please.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Babiak. Yes.
All right, with that, business item number 2 would be a consideration for approval of a resolution authorizing agreements with Metro FiberNet LLC. Over to the administrator.
So we've spoken a lot about this over the last couple of weeks. We have a lot of interest in different companies coming. Attorney Silverman, Director Noriega, Matt Cospade, Director Engel. We've worked for a better part of a year on establishing our procedures for how we're going to bring these on. It's culminated in this document you have in the packet, the Master Licensing Agreement. This will be boilerplate for us. It'll be refreshed for any other entities that want to follow in MetroNet's footsteps if they so choose to do so. So we'll entertain any questions. If there are no questions, we do have Ben Ruzick from MetroNet. He's going to give a short 10-minute introduction about what MetroNet is and how they're affiliated and how they're going to do business here. You have anything, Norio?
No, but we'll be working closely with them with the right-of-way and the easement permits throughout the entire process. So it's not, once you give the approval, we will be reviewing a lot of their plans and so forth, also with the assistance of CBEL. So they will be reviewed stringently.
Hello, Mayor.
We'll turn it over to you for a few minutes, sir.
Awesome. Mayor, trustees, and city leadership that's here, or village leadership that's here, thank you for giving me just a few moments to speak about our project. Aaron, you said short, and I'll do my best. So, just to shut me up. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Please stop me if you have any questions on any of this, or if you want to ask at the end, whatever's easiest for you guys. All right, so my name is Ben Ruzick. I'm the Vice President of New Market Development for MetroNet. Been with MetroNet for 9 years now. MetroNet was started back in 2005 with the understanding of what would happen in a community that you got fiber into that was a smaller community that might not receive fiber infrastructure for a long time. So this is well before fiber had become popular. But the idea was what would happen to the economic environment within that community, and would there be a difference? The owners of our company, John and Allison Ellie, enjoyed so much what happened from this program that they sold both their businesses. They created MetroNet, and fast forward, here we are. In 2005, we were the fastest growing 100% fiber to the premise that was independently owned in the States. With all of what happened during COVID, it really expedited the fiber expansion across the country, which is why we're now seeing more and more fiber companies coming out. With the size and the scope of Metronet itself, we attracted T-Mobile, who then went into a joint venture with our capital interest, KKR. Together, we've created a joint venture that creates T-Fiber. So I'm Metronet. Everything that will be built, installed, and maintained will be by Metronet employees, but our residents, the constituents here, will only see T-Fiber in the field. So the goal is just to make it simple so they know exactly who they have. So T-Mobile Fiber will be the services that will be provided once we get moving. When we talk about fiber, if you know a lot about it, then this will be kind of boring. I'll do my best to be quick on it. But fiber makes a large difference. When you look at the differences from coaxial service to fiber service, there's a significant increase in improvement within reliability, speeds, the ease of maintenance. You just don't have the outages. And again, when I talked about COVID, it really opened our eyes to a lot of stuff, because when everybody was at home, working, playing, just doing life, our equipment in our homes, our washing machines, our thermostats, everything that we have in the house is now tapping into our internet. And so what we saw was systems that were either crashing, couldn't basically allow the entire household to operate. With fiber, we get rid of that. Part of it's because it's symmetrical speeds. It means that our download speeds are the exact same as our upload speeds. The other part of that reliability is because the network itself is operating off of glass and light. There is not power repeaters in the ground like your traditional coax, so it's really easy to maintain. There's either power at the front end, which is where our cabinet would be and where our services come in, and power at the end user, the home or the business. If there's power in those two spaces and the line's not cut, then there's service. So it's a really easy, non-complicated system, which really helps with the reliability of what we do. When we talk about future-proof, the lines that we're going to put in the ground today, they're going to be there for years and years to come. The only reason we ever have to go back to them is if somebody cut them, and at that point, we're just going to go in, we're going to melt that glass back together, and services will be back up and running. Japan in November did a study, and they created the fastest network they could, and they created a network that on these same lines that we'll put in the ground ran 440 terabytes per second through the lines. An example of what that meant, they downloaded the Netflix library in 1 second, the entire thing in 1 second. Same lines that we're putting in the ground here, which is great because we don't have to go back into those right-of-ways and disturb them again once we put this in there. I won't bore you with this one. I like it a lot, but the economic benefits of fiber, the deployment study that the Brattle Group did is the first full study that talked about what happens when fiber hits the home or within the community. They kind of tapped into both pieces. And there's some really neat things, from home value increases to higher income levels, because they have and are able to work within their home environment that allows for an infrastructure that supports work from home. And then job creation, just in the fact of being able to be employed anywhere because of the fiber services that they have available to them. There's a whole lot of other things in there. It's a neat read if you get time for what it can do to the community. So it's a little bit about who we are, and then we get into the how we're going to do what we're going to do. And there's a few things that we can do really well and have a great program or project within town. And one of those is communication. If we communicate well with the residents, with you, that's partly been in the communication with Aaron and Noriel and their teams. The other part is getting out to the constituents in your market. Make sure that they know that we're coming. So we're going to do 3 forms of communication out to them. The first is going to be a letter. That letter is going to come out 30 to 45 days before construction starts. It's going to have a lot of really good stuff on it. Unfortunately, it's a full-page piece, and a lot of people think it's just junk mail, and it goes in the receptacle. That's why we follow that up with a postcard. The postcard gets shorter. It's a little easier to look at and read through. The second thing that we're going to do, and that's going to be just before we're going to have drills in the ground in their area, is typically about 3 to 5 days before we start in that new area. That is going to be a yard dart. That yard dart is going to go out in front of the mailbox of every home, and it's going to let them know construction's imminent, it's coming. While we hope that it's short and that we do a great job, here's how you can contact us. And all forms of these communications have that, how to get a hold of us. They're going to have a phone number, which goes to a US-based call center that our employees staff. And they're going to be able to answer any questions without having to go through a huge call tree. They're going to press a few prompts, at the most 2, I believe right now is what it is, and they're going to have a live person on the phone ready to support them. The other way is through our construction site. The construction site's separate from our sales site, so they're not going to have to jump through a bunch of sales stuff. It is literally focused on how can we help. The middle button, I think, is where it is, and it says ask a question. They're going to be able to put that in. It creates what we call a construction ticket. That ticket, our team has to respond to it within 24 hours. If that doesn't happen, it escalates all the way up to our executive vice presidents within the company, because we know how important it is. If we can get a response to them in that time frame, they're much happier with us. And we've taken it to the point that our teams, the project director that you'll have in market is Scott Carl. Scott Carl prides himself on getting it within a few hours. So we know that if we can respond to them quick, we're going to help comfort the concerns or answer their questions quickly and hopefully make this a smooth and easy process. The fourth notification that's on here talks about yard signs, or not yard signs, but it's called a sandwich board sign, right? Where we're going to put that in front of any major entrance or exit to a large subdivision. It's just an easy way to help people who might have been gone at work or out for lunch when our construction team started. They'll be able to see it. Hopefully it jogs their memory, and they'll know that it's us in market to be able to talk to. Into construction. So before we do anything, a big part is getting to talk to the team here. Noriel has been just wonderful to get to engage for our teams and answer questions, understand exactly how, while we're in town, we're going to permit and work within town. So we've started that process. We'll get through those first permits. We'll start out kind of slow because we want to make sure everything we've got, and Noriel's got time to make sure that it looks good, that we're doing exactly as we say, and then at that point we'll continue to grow. The map on the right is what we call an LCP boundary breakout. LCP is a local convergence point. It's just an old fiber acronym that we use. It's bite-sized pieces as we move through and construct in a town. We're going to start in an area that Noriel will permit for us. Once we have that permit in hand, the team will go out and start the construction. When we do that, we'll send daily street sheets out to the team to let them know exactly where our crews are, what streets they're on. It'll have the supervisor's contact name and information as well, so that if there's any questions, they've got quick access to those people. We'll meet monthly with the team. The goal for that, and we'll meet, obviously our teams in the street will be meeting a whole lot more often than that. But the monthly meeting is a great recap. It's our time to be able to sit down with the team and say, hey, last month, here's how many tickets came in from your residents. Here's what they were about. Here's how fast we responded to them, how fast we resolved those. And then we're going to talk about the things that are going to happen. You're going to have utilities that might be mismarked or not marked, and we're going to hit them. We're going to talk through those things and make sure that everybody understands the process that we took to identify what happened and how we could potentially avoid that in the future if it happens. Our field crews, they're easily marked. So every one of our teams that are going to be out in that field, you're going to know exactly who it is. You are not going to be able to go to a Metronet site and have to sit there and question and wonder who it is. They're going to have the T-Fiber built by Metronet trucks. Logos, the top one is our internal personal. Our contractors all have a magnet that'll say the exact same thing as that T-Fiber on that driver's door. They'll all be wearing high-vis vests that say T-Fiber built by Metronet, and then they'll have that badge on them at all times. So it'll either be on their arm sleeve or in a front pouch in their vest. In our crews, or for our crews, we have two different supervision points. So the contractors that we use have to have their own supervisor on staff at all time. That'll be rotating around between their few crews that they have in the field. And then Metronet has its own supervisors that goes and does the exact same thing. We'll pair up with the supervisors for the contractors, talk through what they've seen and then what we've seen, and we'll make sure that we're constantly guiding and coaching those teams as they're doing work. Restoration is the second big thing. So we talked about communication. Restoration is the other one. As we do our work, if you came out right in the middle of a stretch that they were doing, it might look like some mortars had kind of gone off in the front part of that right away. That's because we hand dig everything that we do. We use tarps. We're going to put the dirt on top of the tarps. And then when we're done doing the bore work, we're going to come back same day, and we're going to put that dirt back in the hole. We're going to put the grass sod plug that we cut back in there, and you won't even know that we were there if you hadn't been there in the day. The only thing you might notice is some of the boxes. Most of the time, people don't even notice our boxes because they're flush grade. This box that I've got here, I use because I like showing it as a day in the life of a box. This is what we expect one day to be. This isn't, we're going to open a hole and come back in a week. It's not open a hole, put the dirt back, and we'll restore it in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We're going to do this all same day. We want to make sure the impact to the community is as little as, or small as possible, especially the day that once we've wrapped up for that day. Now this box is a little bit larger. This goes on our arterial roads, so this is going to be in a larger right-of-way area. They have to be a little bit bigger because of the glass lines that we've got. We've got to coil those, and we can't coil those real tight. They've got to have a little bit larger slacks so they don't break the glass. So those are the bigger ones, but again, this gives us an idea of what our restoration and how we'll do throughout that day. So again, they'll hand dig everything. There's no heavy equipment or anything used to dig these trenches out. This is a box that most people will see within their either right-of-way or in their public utility easement space. These are 11 by 11. They're flush grade, like I said. The two middle pictures you can see in the left one are sitting next to the typical pedestal farms, as we call them, the ones that stand above ground. Ours will be next to those, so they all stay together, but they're going to be flush. Most of the time, like I said, people can't even see them. The two in the middle, that's where they end up normally, is in some form of a flower bed or a mulch bed. We have locate pucks in every one of them, which means that we can locate our stuff. They can, our constituents and residents can put mulch all over them if they want. We have people who will put their own flower pot structures on top of them if they want to hide them. It doesn't matter to us. We can locate them and find them anywhere, however they have them. So all those lids lock, so it's not going to be something where people will be able to unlock these lids and accidentally fall in, trip in, things like that. If there ever is a lid open, our team's always looking for that. If the city team ever sees it, they can just call the cell phone to the project director, and they will make sure the lid gets placed or replaced. So once New City Build leaves, so they're done with the main infrastructure build in town, this town, I would imagine, is going to continue to grow. And as it does, we'll have a team called Special Projects, and that'll be our construction team that'll be here to grow with the community. They'll also be here to help with multi-dwelling unit properties that maybe didn't sign up with us originally when we were coming through, and they'll be there to help support those community developers as they like. We're going to have a field operations team. That's the team that's going to be doing regular installs. So once our new construction team starts building and they release the first LCP, we'll light services up, even though everything's not done in town. We'll light it up in that first area that we built. That way people can start to see the benefit of what we've been doing for them. The field operations team will live here. They'll interact within the community, so they'll help drive economic development within the community as well, because we believe in being local to the community areas that we are. The other way that we'll do that is we really like being a part of the community. So we're going to want to find out the events and the sponsorship opportunities that we can do to help inject funds into the ways that we can be a part of the community, not just providing a world-class service, but also being a part of the community and the fun things, parades or different events. So we'll be looking for opportunities as we get going through the middle of this year. And then we're going to have our business team that'll be here to support the commercial groups that want to get service, and we'll be more than happy to take care of any needs that they have. So that is a little bit about Metronet. I would really care most about getting to hear what you guys have question-wise or anything I can answer for you.
So real quick, as you mentioned trying to help get the project started, and you're referring to having the pamphlets and phone numbers and having a call center, is there any way you guys would put an office in town, temporary, have a storefront? Not necessarily to sell, but at least you'd have create an opportunity for these residents having a new contractor in town providing a completely new service. They can go and actually see somebody.
We used to have a storefront model, in which we did place storefronts. We saw so few people that business-wise, it just wasn't a great decision for us. So we've got two things. One, we'll have a warehouse space, and so I don't know exactly where that's going, but there is a space that we'll have that will house our team that's doing the building. But we also have, and still believe in, door-to-door sales associates. So we'll have a team that is capable when a call comes in and somebody says, hey, I'm not sure I understand this. I want to stream. I don't want to have regular traditional TV, but I don't know what to do. We'll have a team that then can set an appointment, and that team will come out and support them in the field right in their home and make sure that they get supported right away.
You also referenced the boxes. What are the depths of these boxes? You had referenced like having a lid open, if that was obviously a concern, but just so we can hear, what's the depth of those?
Yeah, the smaller boxes that are sitting in the back are probably 12 to 18 inches deep, so they're not too deep. The other ones are probably 18 to 24 inches deep, the bigger ones.
when you run service, obviously you're running your main lines. When you run service into an individual's residence, is that just kind of like a Comcast line, a direct Berry line, or is that something you're putting into a conduit? How is that then supplied to a residence?
Yes, sir. That is a direct berry, so they're going to use a large spade shovel that they'll spike into the ground. Because the fiber's delicate, we'll do it all by hand. So they'll open the ground, they'll place that fiber line in the ground, and then they'll close that ground back up, and then we'll mount the box basically exactly where your regular traditional Comcast or AT&T or whoever you have at your home now. So.
And have you worked out with Public Works what a potential starting location may be?
We haven't gotten that close and that definitive, but we'll be meeting with their construction team shortly after these approvals, if this is where it moves forward.
You're gonna be hanging them on poles in the older section of town?
No, we will not, sir. We'll be all underground here.
All underground?
Yep, so everything underground.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have any questions?
Your PowerPoint had the map that you displayed, one of the slides, it had different colors, zones. Is that potential? I know the question was asked what your build out was going to look like construction beginning, but was that kind of a template for that?
Yes. So when we have it, we'll have a map separate for Shorewood.
Yeah.
It'll probably all be one color. That one was a little bit larger town, and that color difference was for what we call rings. We'll build in redundancy, meaning that if we take a cut in our line, most residents will never even know we took a cut because the light automatically flips in our system. It reverts back around. So for us, we'll build in a ring. That's what the colors were for. But we'll have, yes, all of those LCPs kind of diagrammed out that Noriel would be able to share with you if you wanted to see that.
Interested in knowing what sections of towns will be first, Norio, when you have that.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, if everybody's so inclined to move forward with an authorization.
I'll make the motion for approval of a resolution authorizing agreements with Metro FiberNet LLC.
Second.
Motion by trustee Selfridge, seconded by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Chapman?
Yes.
Luciano?
Yes.
Selfridge?
Yes.
Amos?
Yes.
Babiak?
Yes.
And Brockman?
Yes.
All right, business number 2 has been approved. Business item number 3 would be a consideration for approval of the purchase of bulk road salt from Midwest Salt in the amount not to exceed $60,000 for the 2025-26 winter season. Over to Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have a budget of approximately $60,000 in our budget now for road salt purchase. I'll have to admit, for some unknown reason, we were not included with IDOT's bulk bid for our road salt program this year. So looking for a vendor, Midwest Salt, whom we currently do business with. They provide our salt needs for our water treatment plant. We were able to also reach out to another firm as well. But Midwest has the bid right now at $92.62 per ton. We estimate that we currently have 800 tons today on hand. But it is still only January, and we would prefer to be safe. So we are recommending the village board approve the road salt purchase from Midwest Salt in the amount not to exceed $60,000 at a price of $92.62 per ton. Any questions?
How much was the IDOT purchase price?
The average IDOT price was approximately $70 per ton.
Would Public Works be considering it, not necessarily using the full amount on this time, but maybe doing a larger purchase for the next IDOT purchase
Yes.
as a consideration also?
Yes. So over the last few years, we've had salt what we would consider is 5-6 years old. So over time, it does clump up. And we've been keeping our salt purchases at a minimum over the last few years because we're trying to use what's in our dome currently to actually just use the old salt and get fresh new salt in. We are pretty close to, I don't want to say empty, I mean, we have 800 tons. We've used approximately a little under 700 tons so far this year for December and most of January already. One of our heaviest usage for salt usage was approximately around 1,800 tons. That was quite a while ago. We are on a low salt diet now, and we try to push that for, the conservation of salt and, good for the environment as well. I think we're safe, but I'd like to be safer, okay? So we will be asking in the next budget for a bigger purchase to refill our dome.
You said that for some reason, you
Yes.
didn't get out, what was the reason?
I don't know. They had, when I went to go put in my normal order and start having salt delivered, they had responded that we don't have your order. I don't know if it's a mistake on my end, mistake on IDOT's end. We're just not on their bid this year.
Real quick, what's the capacity of the dome?
Approximately 3,000 tons.
Okay, just curious. Any other questions about road salt?
Can you clarify, are we buying all 60,000 or we're going to refill as we need? Do we have to place this big order?
We would like to place this order, so we have it.
Gotcha, okay.
$60,000 worth.
No other questions, I'll make the motion to approve the road salt as stated by Director Noriega.
Motion by trustee Amos,
Second.
second by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos,
Yes.
Babiak,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
All right, item number 4 will be a consideration for approval of a professional agreement with M.E. Simpson Company for the amount of $27,225 for the annual leak survey program. Back to Public Works.
Thank you again, Mayor. So this is our annual leak survey program for our water distribution system. We approximately have almost 100 miles of water main. We complete this survey on an annual basis. It is considered an IEPA best management practice. This assists with our water accountability, helps identify leaks that we may not visually see on the surface. Our budget request has approximately $30,000. This proposal was reviewed by the village board last year, but I promise that every year that this is about to start, we are going to reconfirm the village board's approval. So we bring this proposal again to your attention. Staff is recommending approval of the professional services agreement from M.E. Simpson in the amount of $27,225 for our annual leak survey. Any questions?
Any questions on the leak survey?
I'll make a motion for the approval of professional agreement with M.E. Simpson Company in the amount of $27,225 for our annual leak survey program.
Second.
Motion trustee Selfridge, seconded trustee Chapman. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Babiak,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Luciano.
Yes.
All right, item number 5 would be consideration for approval of a professional agreement with M.E. Simpson Company in the amount of $27,676 for the annual valve exercising program. Public Works, one more time.
Thank you again. So again, this is another best management practice by IEPA, recommended by IEPA. This is for our annual valve exercising program. It is recommended that we exercise our valves every 2 years. Due to budget restraints, our program allows for exercise every 3 years. We have over 1,200 valves in our system, so this proposal is approximately a little over 400 valves this year. The proposal as approved last year was a 3-year contract. We also bring this again in front of you to your attention to reconfirm approvals. Staff again is recommending approval of the professional service agreement with M.E. Simpson in the amount of $27,676 for the annual valve exercise program. Any questions?
This is what how many years have we been doing the valve program now?
This is the
4?
Yeah, this is the 4th year now.
How many problems have they found?
We have a number of problems. I don't have the number
That's
in
okay,
front of
but
me.
are they finding problems?
Yeah, yes. Valves that are
fixing the
missing,
problems?
valves that are just completely locked, and we are fixing it in-house.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for the approval of a professional agreement with M.E. Simpson Company in the amount of $27,676 for our annual valve exercising program.
Second.
A motion by trustee Selfridge, seconded by trustee Babiak. Roll call, please.
Amos,
Yes.
Babiak,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
And Selfridge.
Yes.
All right, item 5 has been approved. Item number 6, we got one more for Public Works. Consideration for approval of the purchase of reels and dispensers for the Public Works overhead fluid systems in the amount of $13,698.36 from Feast Oil.
Thank you. So our Public Works facility was constructed in 2022. We do have 4 mechanic bays. Now, during our original design and construction of the site, we had included overhead fluids dispensing system for our mechanical area, mechanics bays. However, due to budget restraints at that time, this was eliminated to keep the project within budget. We were able to install the structure for such, so that in the future, if we were to install the overhead, the structure itself is already there. We're only looking for the equipment and the piping. So we are looking to start the phase 1 of the overhead system. We are looking and requesting to move forward with just the purchase of a few reels and dispensers only. Our fiscal year budget today allows for this purchase. We are recommending approval of the quote from Feast Oil to purchase the reels and dispensers equipment in the amount of $13,698.36. Any questions?
Is this the, what other pieces are needed to make it fully operational?
We will need the tank system itself. That's going to go into the fluids. Right now, it's all 55-gallon barrels. And then the piping from these dispensing units between the bays over to our fluids room.
And that won't fit in the budget this year,
No.
so it's gonna be next year, you're thinking?
It depends on where the budget is.
Okay.
We are not asking for it next year, just for our initial asks. We are just looking for, we saw some savings opportunities, and so we
I
are
see.
trying to buy just the reels and dispensers at the
Okay.
moment. All of this will be installed in-house.
Do you have a pricing of what the overall system would cost?
Our overall savings when we cut it out of the budget was approximately $300,000.
And that was with the tanks? Is it a
With the
custom-built
tanks,
tank?
yes.
Into the,
You said the savings is
Back then, when we had it all installed and budgeted for when we were
Yeah.
under construction,
Yeah.
we cut this portion of the project out and it saved us almost $300,000.
okay, so this is a smaller piece of that, of the puzzle, so to speak?
Correct.
All right,
So what does this include, just the reels?
The reels and dispensers that will be hanging from the units above the mechanic bays.
So then there's another phase after this that would cost $300,000?
We're gonna try to piecemeal it and do little by little as we go forward.
Well, ultimately, the project's gonna cost $300,000 more or more.
Potentially, yes.
Any other questions for Public Works?
I'll make the motion. I see the benefit now even with this, right? Because you're not carrying around fluids, it's all being dispensed out of the drums.
That's correct.
Yeah. I'll make the motion for the approval of the purchase of reels and dispensers for Public Works overhead fluid system in the amount of $13,698.36 from Feast Oil Company.
second,
Motion by trustee Selfridge, second trustee Amos. Roll call, please.
Babiak,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
yes, and Noriel, could you,
Thank
it's
you.
not a question, it's more like just additional information for the meeting. There's a safety aspect to this, not having dispensing fluids, carrying around like trustee Selfridge indicated.
Right.
But there's an efficiency, but also a safety. You don't have that fluid on the ground, slips and falls, other combustible issues, things like that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, business item number 7 would be a consideration of an ordinance amending Title III of the Shorewood Village Code regarding our liquor control ordinance, and this item is up for a first read. Over to Ms. Engel.
Thank you. At the November meeting, we presented a draft of this ordinance, so I'll just go through it really quickly. We added and updated some definitions. We added some new license categories for bring your own liquor or bring your own beer or wine, as well as for alcohol in addition type of licenses. We updated the number of licenses and aligned the fees. We updated the fair permit language to include events operating under a village special event permit. And we did a general cleanup of the code. We are presenting this exactly as we presented it in November, with one exception, and the current ordinance is reflecting one fewer B2 license because we had a license that had been previously issued to Maddie's Grill. They've decided they no longer want a liquor license, so we just reduced that by one. The reason we held up on this for November is we just wanted to get through all the business license renewals and the liquor license renewals, so that way we weren't changing the rules at the very last minute. We thought it was better practice to do it in January.
Can I ask a question? The one question I had when I was looking at this, when you go to Class N, and that's the BYO, bring your own wine and beer. It says establishments holding Class B, B1, and B2 or B3 license shall be permitted to allow patrons to bring their own wine as provided in the subsection without obtaining an additional license. Why does it, I can't remember, do we purposely leave out beer on that one and just wine?
Oh, gosh. I don't think that was done purposely, no.
Because Class N is bring your own beer or wine.
So we should put beer and wine.
Okay, and that's why I remember we had this discussion
Typographical,
of how, that was I couldn't, if there was a purpose or not.
No, that's probably just a typo. I'm not sure if it's addressed somewhere else, but I think we could, I'm sure the attorney could update that. The whole thought was if you've already got a liquor license and you qualify for a liquor license and you think it's a good way to get people into the restaurant, that it would be appropriate.
Okay.
Why don't we leave this one as a first read, since it's being introduced to the public? We went through this as a workshop, so let's leave this one as a first read for tonight. A little more openness to the public, so they have an opportunity if they want to go through it. And if any trustees get any feedback, you got it, or if staff gets any calls, they can
We'll do
address.
the correction back.
100%. Yes, sir.
Natalie, where you have these all listed on this page, is that like a Class B, you got 6 on there? Does that mean that's how many's out right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think over the years, we've, added one every time there was a new business, but sometimes didn't subtract them. So Stephanie went through every license individually and made sure all our numbers were correct.
But all these listed are the licenses that are presently out there
Correct.
right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions on item number 7, like I said, we'll leave that as a first read. We'll bring that back in a couple of weeks for final approval. With that, we'll move on to business number 8, would be a consideration of an ordinance granting a conditional use for a cartage and express facility and motor vehicle repair facility in the I-2 zoning district and a site plan amendment for Inca Group. This item is also up for a first read. Over to Trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. Planning and zoning looked at this a couple times. First as a concept plan, and then last meeting we held a vote on it. It comes here with a 7-0 vote of approval. No one spoke for or against the project during the public hearing other than the applicant. And I'll turn this over to Natalie, and you can give us a few more details if you would, Natalie, please.
Thank you. So the property we're looking at is 1005 Geneva. It was formerly the Ajax Linen and Uniform Commercial Laundromat. The property is zoned I-2, where currently cartage and express facilities are allowed by right, or at least they were allowed by right when this application was filed. Since that time, we've amended the ordinance, but they were allowed by right when it was filed. However, a conditional use permit was required for a motor vehicle repair garage. They have stormwater in the rear yard, 2 bays facing south, and they're not going to be using the loading docks. There are a number of loading docks on the property. Inca is a transportation company. They were originally based in Plainfield. They're currently based in North Naperville. They have 11 trucks and 12 trailers. They are an over-the-road transportation company, so most of the time their trucks are on the road in other states. They're stored overnight at truck stops. Very rarely are they stored overnight at this property. They do have 2 refrigerated trailers, but they won't be stored on site, and there will be no reason for them ever to be running on site. They are seeking the office space in the interior, as well as fleet maintenance within the building. Their hours are from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have 5 office employees during operating hours, as well as 2 mechanics. They're proposing to do light maintenance and inspection for their fleet only. They won't be offering repairs to the public, so if you're driving a truck that breaks down, you cannot stop there to get it repaired. All the maintenance will be done completely indoors, so they're required to take their trucks or trailers inside the building. There is a door on the back which is big enough. They expect to do 1 to 2 trucks per day maximum. There will be days when they have no trucks because their fleet is so small. No travel outside of work hours. Their large repairs will not occur on site. So if they have big engine work or anything like that to do, they'll go to places like Trans-Chicago, Kaufman, other large dealerships and repair shops. They're not proposing any new truck parking spaces, although they are showing 2 full-size semi-parking spaces potentially along the east side of the property. They're planning to resurface the entire lot by the end of the year. They're going to add some gravel in the light gray area back by the access bay door, which is where they'll bring the trucks in at night. Matthew drew this out to show where they're going to be parking and how they meet the space requirements of the ordinance that was recently done. And this project is not triggering stormwater management approvals based on the Will County ordinance, but they have agreed to do a study to make sure that the stormwater area behind their building is functioning properly. They have to do the study before they get the business license. They've agreed to make any necessary repairs before the end of the year. Basically, the stormwater area was put in years and years ago and just wasn't really maintained over the years, so we suspect that there may be some issues back there and want to make sure that everything is flowing properly and connected appropriately. They will be doing the study right away before they can have a business license, but they've asked until the end of the year to do the improvements just so they can get up and running without the additional expenses. There are a list of conditions. The conditions basically speak to the typical things we see in truck repair facilities, such as what type of work can occur, that it has to be all within the building, the hours of operation, that the repairs can only be on vehicles that they own, that no reefers can be outside overnight and can be running, that they can't have the vehicles idling in the parking lot, that there can't be any inspections other than walking around the vehicle and checking it out, so they can't have trucks running in the parking lot while they do inspect them. They can't obviously park in the front yard or outside of their approved parking spaces. They have a limit on the number. They have to have the solid privacy fence by the end of the year to screen that, have the pavement refinished, and things like that. So everything we've kind of gone over is listed in the conditions, and also things like not being able to store outside and whatnot. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this at their last meeting and recommended in favor of the approval. Inga Owonik is here in the audience. She is the business owner, so she's happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Are you planning on keeping your location in Naperville? No, so you're gonna be moving out of there? That's all I have.
The fleet is 10 or 11 trucks, is that right?
Yes,
Semi?
it's a small fleet.
Okay. And you're anticipating 1 or 2 trucks being repaired a day or so?
A lot less. It's just from time to time, possibly maximum up to 2, but it's not gonna, some days not gonna be any at all.
Okay.
Just because we're over the road, so we go all 48 states.
Right, thank you. And Natalie, you read off some of what they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't do it or they don't intend to? That's the question. They don't intend to repair or work on vehicles, trucks that they don't own.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, and it's written in there as a prohibition, so that they would not be able to. If they did do that, they would be in violation of their conditional use
And
permit.
then we would have to check on compliance
Correct.
and enforce, right? Okay, that's all my questions, thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions for Natalie or anything?
Seeing none, want to move this along, I think, Mayor. So
Sure.
Consideration of an ordinance granting a conditional use for cartage, express facility, and motor vehicle repair facility in an I-2 zoning district and a site plan for the Inca Group, and waive the second read.
Okay. And we have a motion by trustee Brockman
Second.
and a second by trustee Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Brockman,
Despite the numerous conditions proposed, I'm still a no vote.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano,
No.
Selfridge,
No.
Amos,
No.
and Babiak.
No.
All right, the item fails. With that, we conclude our order of business for the evening. Move into trustee comments, and over to trustee Amos.
Thank you, no comments?
No problem. Trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. Besides the truck proposal just voted on, we also discussed window signage. Would you say that was the right terminology, Natalie?
Yes, yes. And we're going to be discussing also in the committee of the whole meeting today, kind of going over the planning commission's comments as well.
So we had quite a lengthy discussion, good discussion by every member of the planning and zoning, I thought. And next meeting, first Wednesday of February, too early for an agenda right now. Thank you.
Very good. And trustee Babiak.
No comment.
Trustee Chapman.
No comment.
Trustee Luciano.
Citizens Advisory Committee will be meeting January 22nd here at the Village Hall at 7 p.m. If anyone's interested in becoming involved with the committee, they can contact myself or any of the members through the village website. The information's there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And trustee Selfridge.
No comment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, I ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation when action is against, affecting, on behalf of the particular body, of the public body, and has been filed and pending before the court and administrative.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Amos.
Second.
Second, trustee Luciano. Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos,
Yes.
Babiak.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, we'll go to the back for a minute.